What was it like on the set of Little House on the Prairie? The actress who played Michael Landon's wife says it wasn't as wholesome as it seemed.
Whether you caught Little House on the Prairie when it first aired or discovered the Ingalls clan in endless reruns, the sunny picture of frontier life may hide storm clouds behind the camera. The series captured the romance of 19th-century homesteading, yet out of view lurked shadows that would shock loyal viewers. Which scandals rocked the production, and how did reality clash with the tender story shown each week? Step closer because the scene was never trimmed. So look again at the little house that stirred the whole prairie. Viewers around the globe still cling to the wholesome image of the clapboard home, yet few realize how many secrets hid beneath its wooden beams and gingham curtains. Pushing Melissa's buttons becomes our first surprise. On screen, Laura Ingalls and Nellie Oleson clawed at each other, yet offset the two actresses laughed together as best friends. This hidden bond let them plot playful tricks that no one else understood, adding private jokes to every rehearsal. Late in the run, Nellie married Percival, even though Steve Tracy, the actor behind Percival, lived openly as a gay man, which the network kept quiet in that era. Viewers never sensed the backstage irony, and the friends kept the secret safe while cameras rolled. Nellie and Percival turned their wedding into a mischievous game aimed straight at young Melissa Gilbert. Whenever the cameras rolled, the pair leaned into fiery kisses hotter than prairie sun, knowing Gilbert would blush bright red. Off camera, they rehearsed each embrace again, and again just to heighten the shock factor. Crew members snickered while watching the innocent star squirm, and the tension spilled into real emotion on screen, which boosted ratings. Gilbert later admitted those moments felt like emotional torture, even though the couple meant it all in fun. Booze and harmful substance issues followed the crew like dust on a wagon trail. Many workers relied on alcohol or even stronger fixes to push through blazing heat, heavy costumes, and endless retakes. Reports claimed 230 rack cases of Coors vanished every single day, and the most frantic shoots earned the nickname 3 case days that became insider code for chaos. Empty bottles rattled in trash bins while child actors studied lines nearby, painting a picture far removed from wholesome television. Some actors admitted a haze of cigarette smoke, and spilled beer left costumes reeking. So wardrobe staff kept vats of vinegar on hand to soak out the stench overnight. According to Melissa Gilbert's memoir, Michael Landon began mornings with coffee laced with liquor and kept pouring until wrap time. He joked that the mixture settled his nerves, yet the habit grew darker as seasons marched on. Most people on set never guessed the scale of Landon's consumption because he hid the bottles with pioneer discipline. But fatigue and mood swings eventually exposed the truth. When his hands started to shake, crew members realized the charming patriarch was fighting a private battle that no script could soften. Michael Landon's true identity adds another twist. Although Charles Ingalls delivered weekly Christian lessons, the actor himself was Jewish. Born Eugene Maurice Orwitz in New York, he adopted the name Michael Landon after spotting it in a phone book, hoping the shorter moniker would stand out in Hollywood. He followed his father's heritage while keeping faith private. Despite its gentle vibe, Little House fearlessly tackled heavy themes that other shows sidestepped. One episode explored sexual assault through a harrowing plot involving a neighbor. Another addressed morphine addiction with brutal honesty, while still another confronted racism by showing a black family struggling for acceptance in Walnut Grove. Adoption, blindness, and disability also received serious screen time, proving the series was ahead of its era and willing to nudge television boundaries. These daring scripts paved the way for later dramas like Hill Street Blues and ER, proving viewers will embrace tough subjects if writers deliver heart and hope alongside pain. Family Matters created drama off camera too. On screen, Willie Olson teased his sister Nellie, yet actor Jonathan Gilbert was actually the adopted brother of Melissa Gilbert. Their parents hoped the siblings would bond through shared stardom, but fame pulled them in different directions, and after filming ended, the pair drifted apart and no longer speak. Jonathan left Hollywood, earned an MBA in finance, and now trades stocks in New York skyscrapers, while Melissa stayed in entertainment, wrote best-selling memoirs, and even chaired the Screen Actors Guild from 2001 to 2005. Her campaign drew national headlines because fans hoped the Prairie icon would step into modern politics. Yet lingering spinal injuries made fundraising travel impossible. Mary and Laura's relationship truly flared with real hostility. Actresses Melissa Anderson and Melissa Gilbert clashed so often that other cast members avoided the line of fire. Their feud raged through 9 seasons as they traded sharp words, cold stares, and the occasional shove, making every workday a test of patience. Crew tried seating charts, separate dressing rooms, and schedule shuffles, yet the resentment simmered until the final wrap party, where the two reportedly left without speaking. Walnut Grove exists beyond television magic. Laura Ingalls Wilder really lived near that tiny Minnesota village, founded in 1874 and incorporated 5 years later, and she poured memories of prairie storms, grasshopper plagues, and joyous Christmas gatherings into her books. Today, visitors walk the same dusty Main Street, tour a replica of the dugout home, and attend an annual pageant that celebrates the tales that later became the beloved show. Walnut Grove is tiny, on one lonely square mile. Little House on the Prairie lit up screens with a warmth modern shows can't fake. Cast chemistry felt effortless. Timing was perfect, and the rustic setting made viewers ache for slower days. Rumors swirl about a movie remake, yet every attempt stalls, which might be mercy. Lightning rarely strikes twice. Author Laura Ingalls Wilder wanted her books to honor childhood in the Midwest. She was there from 1870 to 1894, after the United States scooped up the region in the 1803 Louisiana Purchase. Much of that land sat wild until brave families chased a homestead dream. They hammered cabins, grew crops, and even spun their own cloth while government posters painted prairie life as heaven on earth. Reality was harder, but struggle shaped Laura's stories. At age 3, she reached Kansas with her family and learned frontier lessons the hard way. Those trials later spilled onto pages that swept America. Producer Ed Friendly read the novels and raced to grab TV rights. Cameras rolled, and Little House debuted on September 11, 1974, instantly winning hearts. 8 seasons later, on March 10, 1982, the curtain fell. A spin-off called Little House. New beginnings tried to carry the torch the next year, but magic faded fast. Even now, parents and kids binge the series for its mix of grit and comfort. Its success came from pitch-perfect casting, sincere plots, and a vision of hope in harsh times. Much of the show's sparkle came from 2 stars with a stormy bond. Melissa Gilbert played spirited Laura Ingalls, while Michael Landon embodied gentle Pa. 11-year-old Melissa had just lost her adoptive dad and felt adrift. Then Landon stepped in, telling her, "I love you like a father." They shared pranks and giggles between takes, and crew members swore their laughter echoed across the set. The joy crashed when Landon ended his marriage to chase romance with makeup artist Cindy Clerico. Melissa, already wounded by her parents' split 8, felt cut to the bone and froze him out. Years of silence followed, until Landon's pancreatic cancer diagnosis shattered the wall. Melissa rushed back, forgave him, and later named her son Michael in his honor. Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim, sweet Laura and spoiled Nellie, were inseparable once cameras stopped. They traded sleepovers, shared secrets, and cooked up wild pranks that left crew members roaring. Their fierce TV fights fooled millions, proving how talented, even devious. Romance scenes, however, terrified Melissa. At 15, she had to kiss 23-year-old Dean Butler, who played Almanzo. The age gap made her panic. So she ran to Landon, now both director and surrogate dad, for help. He marched to producers and won a compromise. The big kiss became a shy peck on the cheek. A relief for Melissa, a lesson in boundaries for Hollywood, and proof that even prairie fairy tales carried modern anxiety. Playful teasing often spiraled into full-blown comedy on set. Allison Arngrim and Steve Tracy, Nellie and Percival, exaggerated their TV romance just to watch poor Melissa Gilbert squirm. They staged over-the-top make-out sessions in hallways until Melissa's cheeks burned scarlet. She knew it was all in fun. Steve was gay, friendship was real, but the prank became legendary. Harmony wasn't universal. Melissa Sue Anderson, Mary Ingalls, and Melissa Gilbert clashed like flint and steel. Castmates felt the chill whenever they passed each other in corridors. Gilbert later wrote in Prairie Tale that Anderson seemed cold and bratty, while Anderson never offered her side, leaving the feud wrapped in mystery. Some blamed Anderson's protective mother and strict upbringing for social misfires. Yet whatever the reason, the iciness lingered long after the final episode. Practical jokes flourished thanks to chief trickster Michael Landon. He taught the kids to stretch plastic wrap over toilets, sending unsuspecting actors yelping. Despite mischief, real heartbreak brewed. Jonathan Gilbert, Willie Olson, and Melissa Gilbert were adopted siblings, once close, now estranged, a rift revealed years later in her memoir. The show's end still sparks debate. Landon wore many hats: star, writer, producer, director, helming 90 of 204 episodes. After 8 seasons, he stepped back and retooled the series into Little House. A new beginning, but ratings dipped. Landon scripted both the 2-hour pilot and the explosive finale. Then tragedy struck when cancer claimed him at age 54. Cast members remember his charisma and open-arm warmth even as fans mourn the Prairie's final sunset. Allison Arngrim once told Megyn Kelly on the Today Show how Michael Landon kept the set alive with non-stop pranks. She praised his warm sense of humor and recalled a time he surprised a female guest star by hiding in a prop wagon until she stepped inside, then jumped out shouting, "Prairie surprise!" The whole crew roared with laughter. One of the funniest bloopers was Laura's forever last pregnancy. Melissa Gilbert and fan site owner Lenny Parker agreed Laura stayed, expecting for over a year of screen time. She first announced her condition in spring. Yet by the next summer, she was still waiting to give birth. No one noticed until eagle-eyed viewers pointed out online. Then there was Colonel Sanders in Season 8's Wave of the Future. Nellie's Cafe becomes a Mrs. Sullivan franchise, and who should turn up but the KFC founder offering a chicken deal. Hilarious and impossible, because Colonel Sanders wasn't born until 1890 and KFC began in 1952. The show was set in the 1870s and 80s, so that Birdman was way off script. Season 5, The Odyssey, delivered thrills when someone tried to throw young Albert off a moving train. But the drama slips into comedy when the camera shows a stiff dummy flying out first while the real stuntman tumbles down the hill behind it. The gap between dummy and daredevil had everyone cracking up on playback. It proves that stories built on grit, family, and simple dreams can outlast any scandal or blooper. From frog-in-the-mouth stunts to bra-anachronisms, the magic never faded. Because at its heart it celebrated courage, laughter, and love on the open prairie.